Big Lez's League, an all rugby league experience.
Hello, welcome back to Big Lez's League, an all rugby league experience. I'm your host, Big Lez. Welcome to the final part of the season preview series. Look, we're recording these a little bit out of order as well. We did have the Cast Patrol boys on the other night, so this is only 2 days after that. But another great guest and a great way to sort of cap off the series. Dan from What's New in the Castle, mate. What's going on?
Big Lez, thanks for having me. Is that what you want to call it? Big Lez? Or you want to be Leroy or Big Lez is fine?
No, Big Lez is fine, mate. I'm happy with Lez.
The Big L.
That's it. You know how I got the nickname? So in year 5 and 6, I used to wear glasses, like big glasses, and I always used to look like Big Lez, like the cartoon, Big Lez.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. I was like, is that from the Big Lez show? Because obviously the boys who follow your page up in Newcastle, and I was like, we're going on the Big Lez show, and they're like, what, the podcast or the cartoon?
Get a voice another sassy the Sasquatch.
Yeah, because I've been told when I was a bit bigger, I've lost a bit of weight now, but back then I was a bit of Mike Nolan. Remember Mike Nolan, the tradie on the Big Lez show? So I had comparisons to that. So
Nolsey's long lost brother.
Yes, technically.
But I used to do Big Lez because I used to watch it all the time. It was the funniest thing ever.
It's a good laugh.
We put it like, it was wet weather one day in year 5. We put it on the TV, like the big fucking projector. We were all watching it like at recess during lunch, and the teacher walks in and Sassy just goes, what the fuck? And the teacher's just like, what are you watching? Like,
as a school teacher, they'd be wigging out. They probably watch it as well anyway. So,
exactly.
Relate to the kids.
Exactly right. Mate, you're looking trim. You were sort of saying before you've lost a bit of weight, getting ready for the charity match. Yeah,
well, the first year, 2 years ago was the first inaugural charity match. I think I was up about like 135, 140 kilos. Because when I retired, semi-retired from footy, I put a bit of weight on. So the last 12 months of 2 years, I've dropped a bit, I think, 35 kilos now. So
that's unreal.
It's been good. Training for the charity match, it's always good fun, and it's obviously a bit more better opposition this year.
Yeah, exactly.
And yes, that take offence, Cast Patrol boys or Shack TV, whoever yous are, we flogged yous the first 2 years, so the only way you're going to beat us, you get 2 ex-Origin superstars in Mitch Pearce and Todd Carney to take the field. So if that's what you're going to need to beat us, then good luck to yous.
100%.
Even though they're coaching us now.
Yeah, which is Wigan.
Hopefully they don't bring us bad juju or...
Yeah, well, I hope not. And you don't have Jimmy to run at this year either.
Or Belt.
Yeah, exactly.
Late.
Who's the new target, mate? If you get to play, obviously there's a bit of... Yeah, and you're at the judiciary, going into the judiciary soon.
Well, I might be suspended, apparently. Norman rang me up the other day, Norman from SportShed TV. He's rang me up and he said, Dan, you might be suspended from last year. I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, when are we going to find that out? They said, like a week or two before the actual match. So keep your eyes peeled for the content there. Yeah, but if I am playing, is this look at this camera here?
Go for it. Who are you calling out?
Mitch Pearce, just... Well, after you pass that ball, just wait. You watch the footage from last year. I'm not saying that you're safe, but I know you're retired, but you got to go after the big dog. And if you're wearing the number 7 on your back, so be it.
100%. I know you got to go for the top dog, mate. You got to go for the top dog.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Todd, I like Todd, but Mitch is one of the great Newcastle Knights. So just take it as a compliment if I'm coming for you, Mitch.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how you obviously go in the judiciary, mate, and if you get a chance to play.
Did you see the hit?
I did. Jimmy's still rattled. I spoke to him 2 days ago. He's still rattled.
What's your initial thoughts? What do you think? Don't be honest. Like, I know I'm sitting here, but
mate, I think play on. I think play on. It's fucking. It's a charity match, mate. It's on NRL.
Oh, mate, I felt so bad after it. Like, just the kind of like. Obviously, most people would have seen it by now, but like I said, charity match. I obviously know Mick Age and Jimmy from over the years, and I just was like, let's stuff it. Let's just do it. And then I think everyone rightly got a bit upset and carry on about it. Rosie was in my ear, Dean from the NRL Rose. He was carrying on. Bloody trying to fight me after it. I was like, piss off, Rosie. Nah, they're all good. They're all good boys. They took it well. Jimmy's a good man.
We'll look at keen to see what happens here. I actually might be getting a spot in the team, to be honest, with the Cast Patrol boys, because I was talking to them on Wednesday. There is that number 21 jersey open.
Mate, everyone's trying to join the winning side, and the Mark Hughes Foundation, and for good reason, going for a three-peat. They're calling us the Penrith Panthers of the charity match thing. So, mate, come on board. Come join a winning culture. We'll teach you how to get on the piss, teach you how to win games, and just teach you how to be a good bloke.
100%. Keen for it, mate. Keen for it. SportShed TV, boys. Let's get it done.
February 16th.
Yeah, 16, 15.
I have to do research on the ground.
Yeah.
It's at Wenny Leagues Club.
Yes.
It's the ground there.
Yes. Yeah, Wenny Leagues Club.
February
That's right.
16, Wenny Leagues Club, SportShed TV Charity Match. Will I play? Don't know if I'm suspended. You will find out. But yeah, if you're going to be playing as well, everyone get around it. Mark Hughes Foundation, new charity, is the Goanna Academy, run by GI, Greg Inglis. So two great charities. The boys, Norman and all the boys from SportShed TV, they do a great job. So get around it.
100%. 100%. Get around it, guys. Get there. I'm going to be there for sure, whether it be as a player or a spectator. Hopefully as a player, Normie, get it done. But let's see what happens.
Done.
Mate, let's talk to me about your podcast. Obviously, you're doing What's New in the Castle.
Yep.
How did that sort of start up?
What's New in the Castle? I probably been doing this for just over 4 years. 2020, around the famous COVID era, everyone's like, I'm going to start a podcast. I'm going to do this. So I've always just been interested in sports media and that. I'm a chippy by trade, like a carpenter, but then when I was transitioning to get into fire and rescue, I'm a full-time permanent firefighter now as my full-time job.
Yep.
I was kind of like, what can I do in between while I wait for my start date? And I ended up getting a job in radio with the Triple M and like the Hit Network, so on radio. So I did a lot of kind of like the labouring role of the radio industry, like the street team they call it.
Yep.
So that's just, going to events or driving the Black Thunder and the Rock Patrol out in the streets, handing out your chalky milks, etc. like that, or going to events and doing all the hard labour and intensive things. Hard labouring, put quotations. So I did that, and then I was just like talking to a few of them about like, how they got into like Brekkie Radio and do their morning shows and that. And, it sounded like an industry which was so cutthroat and like, you could give it a crack, but if you're not getting the ratings, they can just sack you on the spot, and then you got to go move to another country town and that. And I was just like, I should just do that myself and just put it on the podcast market where I don't even have to worry about radio. That way you're your own boss. You don't have to worry about, censoring words or anything like that. So I just started that in Newcastle. There was such like a small niche there of no one was doing content creation in Newcastle. Now it seems like every second man and their dog are doing it now, which is great. Yeah. But I was just like, I'll just give it a crack. And 4 years on, I'm still doing it. And I love it. It's not for everybody. And a lot of people won't like the content, but I don't care about the people that don't like it. I'm enjoying getting to be able to do this on the side, and it's become like a passion.
Yeah, like it's great. Like we both started at a very similar time.
Yeah, you were saying before.
Yeah, like the market wasn't very as fluctuated as it is now, but like it's grown so much since then. Like we're sitting in now, like every as you said, every dog and bird's doing the same thing with the rugby league podcast these days as well. Yeah,
and there's so much talent out there, and there's so many people that are like half decided if they should do it or not. And, people are like, I don't want to copy this person. It's just like, it's not really copying. It's just give it a crack. And if you're producing good content, it doesn't matter if someone's done it before you. If you're going to be producing good content, you're going to stand out and you're going to reap the benefits of it. So like anyone out there, just give it a crack, especially if you're like in country areas or small country towns or wherever you may be. Just give it a crack and find your niche. And if there's no niche, just find something that you're good at and just do it.
100%. You got to give it a crack. Obviously, opportunities have come from yours. Obviously, you're working with a soccer club now.
Yeah. Well, like the thing, I probably the first 2 or 3 years, I didn't see a dollar from like call it a business or from the hobby, so I was just doing it for fun, just going on Canberra and making up posts and probably wasn't consistent doing like week to week podcasts at times. I've had co-hosts come and go who were great. I had a guy, one of my best mates, Campbell Scott. He is a Bathurst boy, moved to Newcastle, played at the same footy club together. He was with me for about 18 months to 2 years, and he's got a young family in that now, so he couldn't commit. He left. He was great. And then another bloke, Sammy Elwin, who used to play 20s at Penrith and Redcliffe up at the Dolphins for a few years. He moved to Newcastle. He's a Temora boy, played with like Liam Martin, etc. So he was my co-host as well. Again, he's got a young family in that as well. So, it's trying to find that balance of like consistency, but also finding that niche and being good at it. So now I've, over the years, had plenty of times where I've been like, I just cannot be bothered. I'm just going to throw it all away. And, all the grind and, enjoyment of making, it's fun making all that content. But then some days, when you have shit days, I can't be bothered. Yeah, and then literally like a week after I was having like really doubtful thoughts after 4 years, the Newcastle Jets got in contact with me and their marketing team, and they're like, oh, mate, we like your niche at Newcastle. Start doing some content that for us. And yeah, it's been great. Like, I'm not a massive soccer guy, but I've actually been enjoying watching like the A-League and that a lot more this year, and being involved in a professional organisation. Like, not to sound cocky, but I'm reaping benefits from not giving in over these 4 years and actually giving it a crack.
100%. Like you talk about, obviously having bad days and things like that. It gets like that sometimes when you're doing the same thing every day.
Yeah.
Like for a long time, it does get like that. They're like, oh no, I've been doing this for ages as well. Like we've been doing it for a very similar time. It does sort of get to that point where, if you're posting very similar content every single day, season reviews, previews for games and that every single week, it does sort of start to get a little bit like that. Like it's tiring. And
I think the issue with, the thing with me was when I started, the first probably 2.5 years, even to 3 years, probably only until like last year, I was making content and trying to seek validation from like my close mates. Yeah. Until like I realized, I think I listened to like, I don't know if it was like a Mark Boris podcast or something, one of the experts like that. And they were little gurus. They were like, and that's not rugby league guru. I'm just talking about the gurus. Like, they were saying to me like, stop trying to like please your content through your mates and seek validation through them. Yeah. You have people that you don't even know who are following your page, listening to your podcast, who are getting engaged with your content. Wouldn't you rather focus on the people who are actually involved with your content rather than seeking validation from everyone else around you? And I was like, that's actually a good point. Yep. For all these years, I've tried to like make this content and, see if my mates liked it or, try and get them to share it and stuff. But if they're not interested, like, why do I need to focus on that when I can focus on my actual like targets here? Yep. Be like, all right, this person I don't know, or this group of dynamic, they're listening to it. Let's focus and start making content for them, and that's just going to drive the the followers up, the listens up, the clicks more, and the engagement. And that's like the last 6 months, it's been great.
100%. I was very the same since I started mine in school. I was like 16, 17 when I started my podcast, which was a strange thing because you get GST from your mates all the time.
Oh, mate, it's that Aussie tall poppy, like any footy shed you go into, blokes are going to take the piss out of your name on it. You get a shit haircut, you're going to cop it. Yep. I'm the same, mate. Any of my mates do anything in life, like it's never like, oh, good on you, mate, congratulations. Like it's always taking the piss. If it's buying properties, buying a new car, buying a new pair of shoes, like buying a new pair of footy boots at the footy club. What are your first thing you do? You go up there and fucking rub mud on it for them, and step on it, So there's never like, you're never really like supporting your mates in that way. It's always taking the piss. Yeah. Which is, and that's why we love our mates. Yeah. But it's also like, don't target to them, target to your target audience. Yeah. And that's when you're going to start getting a bit more success.
100%. Again, it's like, I'm actually happy because I got hacked at the start of last year and I sort of had to start again. And just sort of having all of that knowledge as well about your audience, about how to start it up and how to build that, like it was so helpful to sort of get back to where I was as well. So it's a really good point, like just focusing on that target audience, focusing on your niche, and you can grow so well with your podcast.
What's the hack, little short story on the hack getting hacked? Because I saw Age from the Cars Patrol, his personal account got hacked and they were selling crypto and all these new flash sports cars he was driving around allegedly. It's just, I always find it funny how they just get people and start posting like the crypto stuff and that on there. It's cool.
My young cousin, bless his heart, he's like 16 now, but he saw that I got hacked and I was posting about crypto. Oh, yeah. And he was like, oh, what are you doing? Like, are you doing crypto now? Like, cryptocurrency? Like, is that your new sponsor or something? Like, he full like got into it and believed it. And I was like, yeah, nah, I've been hacked. But yeah, no, like, it was funny. It's my fault. It's my fault because like I got hit up on my personal account by this girl who I thought was in my year. Like they made a copy of a girl's account who was in my year. And she was like running in a marathon or something and she just wanted like a donation. So I'm the
She's
idiot.
probably mad sort. You're just like, I'm going to donate to her.
100%. It was a decent sort. Like that definitely came into equation. Yeah, but I clicked the link. Didn't even do anything else. I clicked the link. Nothing loaded. I got out of it. I was like, this is fucking bullshit. Like, this is a scammer. Anyway, got on with my day. I came in to do BTFU, looked at my phone, and like the followers had like halved down. And like all these crypto posts were coming out. 2 seconds later, I get logged out of my account and That's it. Like everything just like was gone.
To quote Nathan Brown, you're thinking with your little head and not your big head.
That's it, mate. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
I'll definitely focus more on the big head than the little head next time for sure. But two-factor authentication. If you're starting a page, do it. Seriously, it's worth it.
And if you don't be an idiot like me. And if you got two big heads, then good luck to you. You're going to go well in life.
Exactly, 100%. Get two big heads and two-factor authentication. Yeah. That's the goal. Mate, let's get into some rugby league. Obviously, we're here today to talk about the Raiders and the Newcastle Knights and do a little bit of a preview for them going into the season. Let's get stuck into the Canberra Raiders, mate. What's your thoughts on them going into this year?
The Canberra Raiders, for me, I'm a massive rugby league supporter, right? And my content over the years, people probably don't come to me from the analytics style of the game of footy. But don't get me wrong, I love that side of it, right? I just probably don't really talk about it as much. So, and also, like, disclaimer, whatever I say, take it with a grain of salt. Like, I don't want people coming at me going, oh, fuck, you think you know all this stuff. No, it is what it is, right? Yeah. With the Raiders, they continue to surprise me every year. I think it's the Ricky Stewart factor. I don't care what anyone's opinions of him. I think he's such a great first-grade coach. Yep. I know he won that comp, which people say got donated to him in 2002 when they versed the Warriors, and that's the last comp he's won. But, he's taken the Raiders to a grand final in 2019, I believe it was. Yep. It continues to, be in that 6th to 12th spot, continually just surprising the NRL and the fans and that. So going into this year, people are writing them off, but, you can't go against a Ricky Stewart coach side, in my opinion.
Well, that's what's wigging me out, because I look at the Raiders, I look at all of the question marks around the Raiders, and I'm just like, surely, with how even the comp is now, I really can't see them going well, right? So I've wrote them off. You probably see on the slide there that I've written them off.
Yeah, I see that, but you look at this NRL squad, right? This top 30.
Yeah.
And if you're someone that doesn't really watch rugby league, you're probably looking at that going, I don't know these players, right? Yeah. Obviously you got your Jamal Fogartys of the world and that who have been around for a few years. Yeah. But besides that, and this is no offense to those players, okay, you got Xavier Savage, but still he's only less than 50 games in the NRL. Yeah. There's no that standout, flashy player that's going to, be the head of the NRL poster, like a poster boy, right? You look at that top 30. Who can you put in that top 30 to be like a poster boy of the NRL? There'd be nobody really. No. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you look at that squad as if you're someone that doesn't really watch rugby league, and you could be like, oh, they'd be wooden spoon favourites.
Yeah.
But I strongly don't believe they're going to be wooden spoon favourites at all. I genuinely believe that Ricky could get enough out of this squad to, maybe finish 8th or maybe just outside that. Yeah. I feel like they are with a chance to be thereabouts.
I don't know, because I just feel like I watched. This is don't head hide me for saying this, but even though the Knights went well, which I think is a little bit of a, I don't know if it's going to be the same thing this year if they have a similar run, but changing the spine constantly. We saw it happen for the Broncos. We saw it happen for Gold Coast as well on a few occasions there, but constantly changing the spine, it doesn't lead to success. I think that's where the Raiders are at, because I can't tell you confidently that Chevy's going to be the fullback, or KOX is going to be the fullback. No. I can't tell you confidently who's going to be the 5'8" either. There's so many, even hooker, Guru's, blowing up Owen Paddy, as well as to be a guy that pops into this near the 17. Danny Levi, question marks around him, bit of a veteran. You'd think that he'd be there, but I can't confidently tell you who's going to be in these key positions. And for me, other than Jamal Fogarty, all of them are unconfirmed, and that worries me a little bit for the Raiders. And, we've seen hints as well in games last year of them going on little runs of losing streaks.
They do. That's right. Yeah.
And that's just sort of increased over the past few years as well. And we've had more and more of them. I just feel like this year is going to be like the year that it sort of blows out.
Can this Raiders side be a side where you rock up, probably like the Cronulla Sharks in the early 2010s, where you rock up to Toyota Stadium, whatever it is at the time, Shark Park, and they just grind the absolute shit out of you. It's a dogfight, tough, carries out of your own half, and it's just like an arm wrestle game of footy, right? Can this Raiders side, look at that, some of the people in the forward pack. You got Josh Papali'i, Joseph Tarpany, Hoskins, who's 3 or 4 years into his NRL career now. I know he's got injury clout and stuff, but Hudson Young, and then Corey Horsburgh, the Red Nut, he's looking fit as fuck. He's looking great. it's not a bad forward pack.
Yeah.
Can this be a side that can grind teams out and, still get a couple of 2 points, especially around that Origin period of time?
Yeah.
You look at that squad, besides Hudson Young, who's going to be playing Origin? No one. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I agree. I agree for sure. It's definitely a toiler side, and the pack's great. And I think that they are going to have a few of those games next year where they do, grind out a few good performances. I think that they're really going to, reap those consequences of losing not only Jack White 2 years back now, but Jordan Rapiner, two big spine guys that just go for the big plays and the big moments. They don't really have that guy now, to be honest.
All right, we'll put one to you then. Ethan Strange.
Yeah.
Young. It's his second year of NRL football now.
Mm-hmm.
I see on the list there, you got him down at centre.
Yeah.
Do you think you reckon KO Weeks is going to start 6 and Strange is going to be in the centres, or do you think Strange possibility for him to start in the halves?
There is a possibility for him to start in the halves, and that's where a lot of people have him. I think that at this stage of his career, still very raw. The best footy that I've seen from Strange has been at centre. And I mean, what's the best part of Strange's running game? The best part of Strange's game.
He's a runner. Yeah, he's a runner.
You know what I mean? And it suits centre more. And looking at, this side, I just want KO Weeks to be in the front line organising and making decisions too. So, look, for me, I love Chevy Stewart too. Like, I've been watching Chevy Stewart for a bit. He's my age too, which wigs me out, guys. My age playing NRL.
Mate, don't. Wait till you get to 29. That's when you'll shit yourself there.
Yeah. But, look, I'm a big fan of Chevy. Love that Origin performance from him in that under-21s game. He was unbelievable. So he's got so much potential too. I like him to be the fullback. I think he deserves another shot for sure. So that's how I'm sort of putting my side together. But I can see Strange at 6 and doing well. I think either way too, you're putting a lot of pressure on Fogarty to run both sides of the ruck and organise, and just, there's a lot of pressure on him to run the full team too.
There is, but I feel like Fogarty's now at that age where he's probably played 150 plus NRL games now. He's probably in the top 50% halves in the game, in my opinion. I think he's got a great kicking game. He has to lead by the front now. Like, he has really no excuses. There's no excuse for him to start the year off poorly. So, I said that they could be thereabouts. So it comes off, the forward pack, them just grinding teams out each week. But Jamal Fogarty needs to be that guy who, really steps up this year. People have criticised him before of not being that big speaker. But if he can do that to start the first 5 to 10 rounds, then their season could be anything, to quote Rugby League Guru. But I like Ethan Strange. Yep. He's young. I know we're not talking about the Tigers. You got like Lockie Galvin, all these young halves coming through the game. People are crying, going, we haven't got halves that are good and experienced anymore. Let's keep on giving these blokes like Strange and that a shot and see how they go. Yes, they're young, but in 4 or 5 years' time, the NRL are going to reap the benefits of these young, exciting prospects coming through, because we're giving them game time, we're giving them experience in, key positions, and it's only going to make not just the Raiders better, but like the whole NRL better as well. So I'm excited. I'm really excited for Ethan Strange. Like, I don't know if you're into like Supercoach or anything like that, but
big Supercoach guy.
If he's a dual position, I reckon that's a little sneaky grub just there.
Yeah, 100%. I'll have to check that out. I'm not too sure about Ethan Strange. Definitely not where I was looking, but
take what I say with a grain of salt. Like I said, I got no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. That's going off vibe. Yeah,
vibe thing. I love vibe. The castle, mate. The castle's all vibe. I'm interested to see what they go with for sure. I think that, as I said, there's a lot of spots that are up for grabs and open. Keen to see what Ricky goes with. But look, I agree. There's plenty of goers in that squad. You look at that squad right from 1 to 30. There's definitely a lot of guys that are deserving of spots. Plenty of guys that are shoo-ins for different spots. This list isn't edited to, by the way, from when Emre Gula just signed with the Dragons. So we'll edit that for the next episode. But look, it's definitely a decent squad. You've got goers there. It'll be interesting to see what happens and how they go forward. Do you agree with Horsburgh at 13? Do you reckon he's their best option?
He didn't really have the year that we were expecting to last year. It was due to injuries, and it's come out in the media that him and Ricky were trying to punch on, which is hilarious. I don't know who I'd rather want to fight more. I wouldn't want to touch either of Sticky or...
Just quietly, I think Ricky loves that, though. I think that he loves having that animal in the pack.
100%. I'm a big Corey Horsburgh fan. If we can see him get to the form he was in 2023... that's going to be great for the Raiders. That's what I'm saying. Like, this 4-pack, it's a good 4-pack. Corey Horsburgh played Origin. People forget about that in 2023. He played Game 3. Right? So to put him in 13. If he's going to continue his 2023 form,
Yep.
then yes, I like him in the 13.
Yep.
But if he comes out and he's 2024 Corey Horsburgh, that's when they're going to have a few issues, and that's when he maybe go to the bench or, you know.
Yeah, 100%. It'll be, I hope that he is a consistent first grader. I think he will be. And, you know, the potential that he has with that 2023 season you just spoke about, for sure, I think that he can handle that 13 jersey. And I just think he's a little bit of a better option there in regards to some hands, some good ball playing compared to a Smithies, who I just think they put him at 13 and just tried to make it work. But he's a front rower. He's such a toiler front rower. So I think that off the bench would suit him just as an impact guy better.
Yeah, I like my 13 that can do a bit of ball work and that as well, like, you know, that tip on and, you know, running pairs, whatever they say these days anyway. But yeah, I kind of like, I feel like Horsburgh's got a bit of that in him. Yeah. But I also like him just in the middle, just getting that tough,
even if
stuff.
Tarpanay's like a 13 and you just have him there at 13.
I like Tarpanay just being a front rower, but in my opinion, I just feel like as a front rower by trade, as I was back in the day, Tarpanay's like the epitome of a good front rower, like him and Tinu Fususul-Maui, like they're just the ones that you look at and go, that's a signing that I want. Yeah, exactly. I was broken when he left the Knights. I was just like, So Tarpanay, that was a big loss for us a few years ago. Yeah, rough. And then obviously losing Leo Thompson too for the following year. Yeah, we can go on that now. If you want we go on the Knights chat now, then are we? Or
no, we'll get to it.
We'll talk about Leo later on.
We'll talk about Leo a bit later. Mate, obviously we were talking pre-recording. You and Hosco go back a bit. Yes,
Hosco. I've known Hosco for a few years now. One of my good mates. Hosco was best man at his wedding. Yeah. We used to play footy against each other. He was a couple of years below me, but up in the Newcastle comp, I played for South Newcastle. He played for the Central Charlestown Butcher Boys, which is a good name, the Butcher Boys. But he's a good man. Hosco, have had a few beverages with him over the years and a couple of trip away. So he's a good man.
What's he like as a bloke?
As a bloke, he's pretty missionary, not going to lie. He's pretty boring. He doesn't say much. He's gonna if he hears that, he's gonna be like, "You're a fucking idiot." No, he's a good man, mate. Like he's got a great family. His brothers and his mum and dad up in Newcastle. His old boy played for Manly, the Mule, actually. Yeah. So Dave Hoskins, he was Manly great. So mate, Zach's he's a really good dude. Always up for a chat. So he's a good man.
Spewing that he's injured though to start the year, like that's huge for the Raiders.
I spoke to him in about November, December. He was up in Newcastle the week before they started pre-season. Yeah. And like he was foaming at the mouth, ready to do a full pre-season because he got injured at the back of last year and he was excited for Vegas and everything. And then, I've read that he's hurt something. What's the injury? I haven't even spoke to him.
I need to look into it a bit more.
But it's
shoulder or leg.
Is he doubtful for round one? He might be there, he might not. I have no idea. For his sake, I hope he is there because to miss out on a Vegas trip because of an injury, that would be heartbreaking.
Calf injury.
Calf as well.
Calf's the biggest pain in the arse of all time. I get the tightest calves as well.
It'd nearly be worth running out there for round one in Vegas just to set your season back 10 weeks of an injury.
Play the first 5 minutes or something, just get out there and enjoy the atmosphere for sure.
I went over there to Vegas last year. It was great.
Yeah?
It was so cool. Oh, mate.
What was it like?
It was like a Magic Round party atmosphere. Yeah. Or probably not like a State of Origin, a little bit different. But if you've been to Magic Round at Suncorp Stadium, I reckon it was equivalent to that.
Magic Round without the Caxton butt.
Yeah, but you got about 1,000 other casinos in there which make up for it. Yeah. So trust me.
Mate, I've heard some gnarly stories of Vegas.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how many of them I can share, but they're gnarly ones. Like, I will say one which I think is a little bit PG compared to the others. Like, my dad's mate Beardy, he went over with a few of his mates, and they were in the casino. And because the casino's got no windows, you have no idea what time of day it is. So Victor Radley, I think Victor Radley and Brandon Smith, I think it was, they were playing in the casino, and they were on the table
or the tables.
Yeah, they were on the tables. And then Beardy was there as well. They were playing poker or something. Anyway, I think Beardy would check the time. It was like fucking 2 a.m. and they were leaving in a few hours to get on the plane, to get on the bus to go to the plane. And they were like, oh fuck, like they had no idea what time it was because they were there for ages. They probably got in there like just after the game or a few hours after the game, and they had no idea what time it is. So they had to rush back to the hotel, try and get at least an hour or so of sleep, and then go back on the buses and.
Mate,
just hectic.
It's seriously chaos over there. Like you would go to bed at 6 a.m. and then you'd wake up again at 3 p.m. and you just do it all again. Like you pretty much stay on Australian time zone. Like it's the perfect trip away. If you were like fly from Sydney, go straight to Vegas, do your 3 or 4 nights, come straight home, you'd stay on Australiing time zone because you're not awake during the day over there. It's perfect.
Put you under pressure a little bit. If you're going over to Vegas this upcoming Vegas trip, what's the first thing that you would do if you were there?
First thing I would do if I got to Vegas?
Yeah. First place you want to go?
First thing I would do, it's nice just to, obviously check into your, wherever you're staying, check into your casino, your hotel, wherever you're staying. I always like just to go and have a beer at the place that you're staying at, just like vibe it out and just walk around the casino and just soak it in because I just want to go. I just want to run straight out to the strip and carry on like a pork chop because that's when you're going to come undone and you're going to lose wallets, you're going to lose dignity, you're going to lose any sense of being a human being.
Assess your surroundings.
You got to kind of like, if you're doing like a deck or something at home or you're for the builders out there and you got to leave your timber out to climatise the environment. Yeah. Similar thing. Kind of just, rock up to the casinos, kind of just like breathe it all in, soak in that desert dry air up your bugle and whatever else, and then just enjoy yourself.
100%. Well, look, I'm probably not going to go this coming one. Probably the next one I'll go for sure.
Yeah. If the Knights playing, I'm
straight there.
Oh.
Who would you want to verse as the Knights? Like what team would you want to go up against? Doesn't matter if they've played already.
Mate, to be honest, I hate every other NRL club. Put us up against anyone, we'll beat them anyway.
100%, mate. 100%. Mate, it'll be good. I'm keen. I definitely want to get up there at some stage and just enjoy that atmosphere for sure. Probably won't be this year, but next year for sure.
Yeah, and start saving your dollars, get your piggy banks out.
I'll definitely be going to Magic Round, but I definitely want to get up to Magic Round.
Magic Round's great. Yeah, Magic Round's good. Yeah.
How many Magic Rounds have you been to?
I've done a couple now. Yeah. I want to go this year. I've got a Europe trip booked already. Got a wedding and stuff. Not my wedding. Yeah. God, no. Got a mate's wedding over there in Italy. So that's, chewing through the bank account. So I'll see how we go. Mate of mine, Scotty Bellotti.
Yes.
Scotty.
Yeah. The Punters and Dribblers
page. Yes,
Punters
and Dribblers Facebook page. So we actually, we're over in Vegas together, actually. So, me and him were going to go to the Magic Round and meet up, but I'll see how it goes. See how the bank account's going.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe pop over on the way back just quickly and then drive back down.
Oh, mate, I wish. Get the private jets out.
100%. 100%. Mate, back to the Raiders. Let's get back into the Raiders. Who from the rest of the squad, looking at jersey 18 to 30, do you think is a sniff to crack the 17? I know. There's a few names there that even myself I'm not too familiar with, but who's someone that pops out to you like he could definitely be a sniff?
Apologies if I always pronounce this name wrong, but Corey Harinira-Awara. Corey
Harinira. You've got me tripped up now.
Corey Harinira-Awara. Yeah. He's been there before. I think he's a great back rower. He obviously had that gruesome injury over the last 12 to 18 months. If he can find some form or get that fitness back, he's someone that definitely can fit straight into the side. Yeah. If you can get him back to form of 21 to 23, 2021 to 2023, it's a great back rower or extra forward to have in your side sitting on the bench.
Do you reckon he pops straight in for Oscar on that right side?
Depends fitness-wise, right? If he's right to go, 100%. Definitely, absolutely. You also got Pasami Saulo. Saulo has been at the Raiders for a couple of years now. He's been one of those players that's always filled up the top 30 NRL squads. He hasn't really got that starting 13 in him. Yeah. He's been 14th to 17th or 14th to 18th man over the last few years. Yeah. He's someone that I'd like to see get a bit more consistent first grade footy because he's fit. He's tall and lanky, and he's strong as. And he stands out. I think he's got the long afro now. He's been growing it out, but he's definitely a player where I can see fit into that 17. And I would like to see more into that 17 more consistently each year.
I know that you have a lot to do with a lot of the boys that play for Newcastle. Do you have much to do with Basami when he was over there?
No, I never got to meet Basami Saulo, actually. He, I noticed on the night socials, he did a lot of content with the roaming microphone and stuff. So I've heard he's a bit of a character. So, it's one player which I've heard he's a great bloke, but I never had anything to do with Basami.
Yeah.
Great name.
I mean, I know, Basami Saulo, what a name. And just the afro and and everything, it just makes sense that he'd be a character for sure. But yeah, look, it'll be interesting to see who grabs that right side back row spot, mate, because obviously with Elliott Whitehead out, again, just another experienced guy that they're losing.
Yeah, 100%. Elliott Whitehead, like obviously he was getting a bit older, and he had some great years for the Raiders, especially in the years they made the grand finals and the finals a couple of years in a row. Losing him's massive. And that's experience, right?
Yeah.
Like you lose him, that's a 200 game play. Just like, wow, like where do we go from there? That's probably where recruitment for the Raiders, they're going to have to try and find that extra body forward.
But I mean, you look at their top 30 squad, like 80% of their squad's forwards.
And you look at like you got Miles Martin. He's he was from the Knights, playing in the lower Jersey Flag and New South Wales Cup. So he's gone over there again. No NRL experience. Yeah, not a bad signing, but like you need someone that's got 100 games in him or 150 games in him. Yeah, I don't know. Do they go after someone like Matt Lodge?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't heard the best things. Obviously, that situation with the Dragons was messy. He did a fitness test with the Dragons, I think 2 weeks ago now.
No good?
Nah, well, he did the fitness test. Shane, actually, like Flanagan and the club were like, yeah, they will give you a contract, but it will be a training trial. He's like, nah, fuck that. I want a top 30 contract and I want cash.
He's saying that I'd probably be doing the same for a training trial compared to a 150 grand a year for minimum contract.
Yeah,
training
100%.
trial,
I know
training trial for 50 grand, you might as well go on labour, you'll earn more money.
100%.
Rather than doing a training trial,
100%. And with that level of NRL experience, it makes sense as well. Like, he's been around a few clubs.
I can understand where he's coming from. I really do. Like, he's obviously, we won't have to go into his off-field what's happened there, but like, I can kind of see where he's coming from. And
fuck, him under Ricky would just be all time too. Like, just an absolute weapon.
Yeah. I feel like Ricky could get something out of him.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, if it's fitness, that's the thing, like a medical, then what do you do?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens with him. But I'm not too sure that we'll see him in the NRL just based off the chat and obviously different talks with different clubs and obviously him wanting that top 30. I feel like at some point you've just got to accept, all right, the trainer trial is probably the best I'm going to get at the moment and work towards that top 30 contract.
Yeah.
But we'll have to wait and see what happens. Like, you never know. Someone might offer him that top 30 deal and he gets a job off the bench like he did for Manly and ended up starting obviously at Manly too.
Yeah, well, someone from another club might do something stupid over the next couple of months and then they go off contract and the Raiders can just scoop them up.
100%. Look, I think with whatever the Raiders do pick in all positions, particularly the spine though, they do have to pick and stick. Like, you can't obviously copy other clubs that have made the same mistake of constantly swapping your spine every few weeks.
No,
because then it obviously doesn't lead to too much to success. And you look at Brisbane the other year as well when they won the Spoon. A big reason for that was because they were constantly changing their plans.
100%. And that's why I back Ricky Stewart as a coach, as a first grade coach. A lot of players have played for him over the years, young and old. They've spoke so highly about Sticky and, he's had a great playing career. He's now had a great coaching career. He's been doing the damn thing for a long time. That's why I'm like, you got to give Ricky Stewart credit. Yep. And I back him. Like, I'm not even a Canberra supporter, but like, I like Canberra because of the way I like Ricky Stewart. So I feel like you can't wipe him out just yet. That first 5 to 10 rounds, that's when we'll get more of a gauge on the Raiders. Yeah. You probably get a gauge for most sides, but, specifically for the Raiders, I just feel like any side coached by Ricky Stewart, you just can't write him off.
100%. Well, we'll have to wait and see how he goes. And obviously, if they can crack the top 8, that'll be unreal. Where do you if you had to give a little bit of a 2 or 3 spot bracket of where the Raiders you think will finish? What are you thinking?
I reckon 8 to 10th.
8 to 10th?
Yeah.
I don't mind. I think that for me, for the Raiders and for a number of clubs, and obviously the club that we'll talk about next, which we'll get into in a second, at their best, they're all top 8 sides. Yep. At their worst, they could have a real bad, track, and obviously the Raiders with a few lost streaks in a row, if that expands and they don't pick and stick and things start to fall apart in that regard, it could be a real interesting season. So I think their best is their best, but their worst is real down low.
Yeah, and I 100% understand where you're coming from there. Yeah, I just personally believe that they're going to be a side that they're going to find some tight victories. I think there was a couple of years ago, like they never won a game by 13 plus in their whole season. It was always 1-12, 1-12, 1-12. I feel like that's going to be a continuous theme this year for the Canberra Raiders. But I do feel like they're going to get a couple of close victories and maybe a couple of close losses in that as well. But around that origin period, if you can get 4 to 6 wins, that puts you in a comfortable position to so if you win 6 games during the middle of the season, you only need to win 3 or 4 at the start, 3 or 4 at the end. That gets you to 8th spot.
It'll be interesting to see what their draw is like actually around that origin period too.
I think they're in a position where they're very lucky to be where they are. Where look, they probably won't have many origin players selected, so it's a good opportunity for them to get some 2 points around that time. That's why I feel like that 8th to 10th spot and a Ricky Stewart coach side, I feel like it's a good opportunity there. I'd happily come and apologise later on in the year if they get the wooden spoon or come last, but I personally don't feel... I feel like they're a better side than that. They're a better squad, even though they're not that poster boy NRL side. I just feel like there's more to it.
Yeah. Look, I honestly can't give that 2-place bracket. I think that their best is in the 8. Their worst is at the bottom.
Okay,
I just feel like there's no real in-between for them. I think that it's either going to be a strong season, they're going to have those big 1-12 wins where they really grind through games. But I think their worst is just it could really fall apart if they don't seem to pick and stick. And it'll be an interesting season for Ricky Stewart as well, coaching wise and what he does, what selections he goes for too. All right, mate. Let's get stuck into the Knights. Your team.
Yes.
What's your vibe on the Newcastle Knights, mate? Give it to me.
Mate, my mighty Newcastle Knights. I'm that excited for the 2025 season for the Knights. We finished last year 8th. We end up getting the top 8.
Yeah, 8th. Yeah.
I think Adam O'Brien, 5 years of coaching now, he's made the top 8 4 out of the 5 years.
Yeah, I know. That was insane.
A lot of people get on his back.
Yeah.
I back Adam O'Brien as coach.
Yep.
I'm excited for the season. I'm feeling like a big year. I feel like we can try and continue on last year. People last year weren't backing us to make the 8, prove them wrong. And going into this year, I can't wait to prove people wrong again.
I think it's the sort of same thing we were talking about with the Raiders, though. I think that their best can be really good if they figure out these halves, pairing and get that locked in early, and they stick with that throughout the season. I reckon they could go well, and if Ponga has a good year, I think that they can definitely go well. They've got a decent pack. Last year with Leo Thompson, the boys will play up for sure. But yeah, look, I think that the Knights can go well. I just think as well, if this halves pairing doesn't get sorted, the side obviously loses a bit of confidence, losing Leo the next year, obviously losing Daniel Saifidi, who was a leader through that pack this year. I think that it could go either way, to be honest. So I'm keen to see if the Knights can have a good start and if they can just pick and stick. But I think the main criticism of last year was the fact that every 2 or so weeks the halves pairing would change, and there was no level of consistency there.
The difference between the Knights squad and that Raiders squad, right? Now, I mentioned earlier poster boys, and I like to use that word poster boys because it's probably a good buzzword, as in you look at squads and be like, oh, this guy, he's a star player, he's an origin player, or he's an international player. He's brings people to the games. You look at your Kalen Pongers, your Reece Walshes of the world, right?
When you think of the club, who do you think of those sort of guys?
You look at that Knights squad, but and you've got Kalen Ponga there. You've got Dane Gagai, who's 200-plus gamer now. You've got Bradman Best, who's played 2 Origins, and he's dominated in those 2 Origin games he's played. Yes, he's a bit injury-prone in that, but 3 out of the 5 that outside back are like poster boys in that NRL side, right? And then you got in the back line, Greggy Marziu, who, last year was his form as good as 2023? Maybe not. I still feel like he played great. He was still a top 50% winger last year, in my opinion. So you got Greggy Marziu there. That second wing spot is still up for grabs. He had Fletcher Sharp to finish the end of last year off, and didn't he have a great debut season for such a young player coming through the grades? So our back 5, I think it's a great back 5. And then yes, our weaknesses, that 6 and 7. Yes, we swapped and changed a lot last year. Was it frustrating as a fan? 100%. Like, I'm not going to come in here and lie and say, oh, no, it's fine. Adam O'Brien, blah, blah, blah. It was frustrating.
Yep.
But to start this year off, hopefully we can find a bit more consistency in that area. I strongly believe that it should be Cogger at 7 and Tyson Gamble at number 6.
Yep.
That's my opinion. But what I've been told and what I've been hearing in Newcastle, that Fletcher Sharp, it looks like he's going to get the number 6 jersey.
Yeah.
So interesting in our first 2 trial games in the next few weeks to see if Fletcher Sharp is going to be put in that 6 jersey and to see who the number 7 is. If it's going to be Cogger, is it going to be Hastings?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see.
Do you rate that call though, Sharpie at 6?
So Fletcher Sharp, a lot of people don't know this, but when he was coming through the grades of SG Ball,
Yep.
Harold Matthews, Jersey Flegg, he was actually a number 7. He played all his juniors as a number 7. What I've been told, he was a great halfback, and the Knights got him to the club as a number 7. It wasn't until his later years of his teens they started putting him into the fullback role. Don't quote me on that, but that's what I've been told.
Yeah.
I could be talking absolute rubbish right now, but what I've been told, he was a 7, right?
Yeah.
So
Maybe it does.
he's got the experience there. It's not like the only thing that for him, it's been getting used to that contact and that as well. But the photos that I've been seeing on the Knights Instagram and the footage, he's been defending a lot in that 7 or 6 third man in. So if he gets used to the contact and that, it'll be surprising to see. He's got good ball play with his hands. It's another new halves combination.
Yeah,
but give it a shot. We got trials.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work out, then we've got Cogger and Gamble can go there. I like
exactly.
Gamble. I think Gamble's a good squad filler for the Knights, and I feel like he's a good number 6. So there is options there. A lot of people are riding them off in that area in the halves combinations, but I don't think it's as bad as what people are making it out to be.
Yeah, look, I think it's definitely going to be interesting to see what they go for. And look, if that's the case with Fletcher Sharp, I think it does fill me with a little more confidence, the fact that he does have experience in the halves in the lower grades and he has that sort of familiarity. I actually didn't realise that he came through as a 7, so that actually changes things a little bit, I guess, as well. But I think that my criticism would have been, because since he has played predominantly a lot more fullback over more recent years,
over the last few years,
it would put a bit of pressure on whoever is the 7 to sort of take a little bit more control, and since he's going to be more of a sort of a runner in that 6, same with Blaise Talangi with Penrith as well. I think that Cleary's going to be taking a lot more pressure and ball. He's going to be running the sides on both sides of the ruck, and Blaise is just going to run down that corridor. But
100%. But you look at that Knights attack.
Yeah.
Who's their number 1 attacking threat?
Yeah, it's Ponga.
Kalen Ponga, right?
Yeah.
You look at all their shape. If it's left side or right side, Kalen Ponga's he needs to get the ball. Hands on ball at least once or twice every single set.
Yep.
They get the ball in their own half or in their half. Does not matter. Whoever's the 7 and 6 for the Knights, really all you're doing is catch pass.
Yeah.
Catch pass. Talking to the forwards, guiding them around.
Yeah.
Yes, you can't rely on Ponga the whole time, but it's fucking work. It's clearly worked for us when he's playing, right? We win majority of our games when he's there, and the attack looks hot. Like that Cowboys semi-final where we just got beat, it was the Ponga show again. Yes, we might need a little bit more attacking flair from someone else on the side, but really it's pretty much just that guiding player for Ponga, just sweeping left and right.
Yeah, 100%. Ponga is definitely a big part of their attack for sure, and you're right. Like he is their main attacker. So whoever the halves are, they just need to get him the ball when he wants it.
And Fletcher Sharp, he's a Cessnock boy.
Yep.
You might have heard of a guy who was from Cessnock who wore the 7 jersey a long time ago. Andrew Johns, apparently a good player. Not sure. Probably too young to make the call on that. So apparently Andrew Johns from Cessnock was a good football player.
Yeah.
So Fletcher Sharp, if he's wearing the number 7 for the Newcastle Knights, he is from Cessnock. It's only fitting. It's music to my ears, really. A Cessnock playing 7, playing for the Newcastle Knights. Sign me up,
mate. We're getting in some real vibe areas. It's all vibe.
It's nostalgic. It's
100%.
Yeah.
Look, I'm keen to see what they go for. If Fletcher Sharp is the 6, that definitely fills me with a lot of confidence that he has experience there.
Yes.
But I think at the same time, obviously just working that out with whoever the halfback is, and you probably do need a ball dominant halfback still. Even though Callum Ponga is going to be the guy that's roaming both sides of the ruck and getting majority of the ball, I think you're still probably going to need that ball dominant half, at least just to help Fletcher Sharp get used to that role at 6 as well.
What do you think of Cogger then?
Look, I think that Cogger is a good 7. I think that he's probably, other than Hastings, but I don't know what's going on with Hastings, I think that Cogger's probably the second best halfback at the club. It'll be interesting to see how he goes this year. I don't know. I feel like you still probably do need a bit more of a ball dominant half. I feel like he just hasn't built up that confidence yet. even though he's a veteran.
And that comes off experience,
Yeah.
right? Yes, he's come off and he won that premiership with the Panthers and that.
Yeah.
Though he didn't get consistent first grade last year for some reason. Adam O'Brien has made that call. He obviously knows a lot more about rugby league than what I do.
Yeah.
But I feel like if we can give Cogger that consistent footy, 5 rounds, 10 rounds, then reassess how we're going after 5 to 10 rounds, then make the change. We can get him some consistent footy. I reckon we haven't seen the best of Cogger yet, in my opinion. So, if you can Cogger some consistent footy and you've got someone who's like if Gamble or Sharp and then you've got Ponga in that side, it doesn't hurt to give it a crack, right?
Yeah, 100%. Like I think that you can definitely play with your options, but I think that just giving them a certain amount of games just to get used to that role and that position, I think is definitely going to be key for Newcastle. Mate, how are you doing your 9 and 14? Because I've got Crossland starting with either Brayley or Will Price off the bench. The Price is right.
Yeah, Price is right, yeah.
How are you sort of organising that 9 and 14? Are you going to go with a more utility 14, more hooker 14?
I definitely have Phoenix Crossland as my starting 9. I feel like he's an out-and-out 9 now. I actually interviewed Phoenix Crossland 2 months ago on our podcast and I asked him, I said, like, Adam O'Brien gunned ahead, Crossland, what do you choose? What's your position? He goes, I want to be a 9. So he got selected for the New Zealand national side, the Kiwis. He was the starting 9 for them. Hate him, love him, or whatever your rugby league opinion is, he's the 9 to be for the Newcastle Knights now. We got to stick with that. But my 14, I'm having Jaden Brayley there. I don't care if people are like, he's injury prone or whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Jaden Brayley is such a good rugby league player.
Yeah.
He's got great service out of dummy half. Last year was probably his most consistent year of playing more games in a row compared to his last 4 seasons. If we can get him injury-free, it's such a good handy number 14 to have coming off the bench as him and Crossland just swapping and changing. Because you can have Crossland playing that 13 jersey, you can have Crossland playing the halves if needed to be, but if you have him starting at number 9, the odds are always there, really.
Yeah, 100%.
Price, I didn't really watch much of New South Wales Cup last year to comment on Price. He showed good signs in first grade, but I don't know. Maybe he's not ready. I don't know. But if I'm picking the side, I have Crossland as my 9 and Brayley as my 14.
Yeah, any
day of the week.
Yeah, for sure. I think that having that hooker 1-2 punch, especially for Crossland, who is still relatively new to the position. He had that great year, 2023, in that 9 role, but I think he's still relatively new to it, and obviously moving back into halfback towards the back end of the year for you guys during the final series. So just getting him back used to that position, and look, if he loves playing there, that's a bonus
100%
for you guys as well.
Yeah, definitely. He's such a good fella, Crossland. The shoulders that give more whiplash than seatbelts, the big man. He can hit hard, and he's got the Goldilocks looking hair. He is a poster boy, Crossland. He is a poster boy. So him at 9 and that 1-2 punch with Brayley, that's a good little combination. Like if they can stay injury free, touch wood. But that's a good combination for me. I really like that for my Newcastle Knights. I feel like it's a reason for fans to be excited.
And I agree with you with Brayley as well. Like I think people don't really remember how good he actually can be. Like we were talking about him for Origin. 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
What's everyone... I don't get this, especially Knights fans. These, I'm not going to mention these other Knights podcasts out there. Yeah. They're so anti-Brayley. I'm like, what's this thing on Brayley? And it's like, they go to it's the injury prone thing. And I'm just like, hey, hang on, there's other players that are injury prone. Why aren't you saying this about Bradman Bess?
Yeah.
Why aren't you saying about Nathan Cleary, when he's injury prone, but he wins 5 comps in a row? So what's this? I'm trying to understand that the Knights fans, they're comprehending on hating on Jaden Brayley. Yeah. He's such a good player, and if he's playing consistent footy, get him in your 17.
100%.
You don't want him going to another club like Parramatta or something like that. Yeah. They don't deserve him. Yeah. Keep him in Newcastle. He fits the town mould as a number 9.
He does.
He looks like a Danny Badiris-esque player, doesn't he?
He does. Yeah. And he's super crafty too. I'd be spewing to see him leave Newcastle because I think that'd be so hectic for you guys as well. Yeah. And just not having that replacement too for a 9.
He's a good man.
To be honest.
Good man, Brayley. People are going to go, you're just sticking up for him. I'm like, yes, I am sticking up for him because I think he's a great player.
Have you had much to do with Browse?
I interviewed him during COVID, 2020, when he first came to the club. Young fella back then, but if I see him in the streets and that, I'll say hello. I don't want to pester him. I don't want to be like a fanboy or anything. Yeah. Which, as much as I am, I'm a big Brayley fan.
Yeah.
But he's a good man, and I got a lot of time for him anyway. So a lot of these boys in that squad. That's the good thing about this, like the Newcastle Knights. Like I feel like gone are the years during the wooden spoon era where they had massive egos and they'd walk around, still getting on the piss after getting beat by 40 and 50 a game. There's a bit of a culture there. There's a bit of a culture there with the Newcastle Knights now where it's like, losing or just losing by 2 or 3 points is not good enough. We expect to win games of footy, and that's what I like to see with the Newcastle Knights now. I feel like they've built a good culture, and it's because of blokes like Jaden Brayley, blokes like Phoenix Crosland, even like Tyson Gamble and Adam Elliott, these forwards in the middle. We're going to talk about the forwards in a sec. Like, it's all these players there now that are building this culture where like near enough is not good enough now. We have expectations.
Yeah, 100%. It's definitely a great culture down there, and look, all the clips from training, everything looks really positive. I'm keen to see what your side looks like going into this year. It's going to be really, really interesting. We'll talk about the forwards then. Obviously, losing Daniel Saifidi is big. What's your read on that? How does it affect the boys much, and how do you sort of move the side around with him?
That's
out?
with Daniel Saifidi leaving, did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. But so you're talking about Leo or Daniel?
Daniel Saifidi.
Sorry, Daniel Saifidi. Yeah. Sorry, I was getting my I had a note to my phone about something. Disregard that. Yeah. So Daniel Saifidi missing. Look, it was probably having Jacob and Daniel on the side. Like they're very. I know they're twins, and this sounds so ridiculous, but they are such a like-for-like player.
Yeah.
They're identical. So, they've decided to move one of them on, apparently with salary cap reasons or not. I'm pretty sad to see Daniel go. Would have loved to see both of them be, one club players, but it's not to be. The forwards this year, you still got like Jack Heverington, if he can keep his cool.
Yeah.
You got Adam Elliott there. You got Brodie Jones. You've got, who else did I have in me 17 here? Matty Croker. Matty Croker could play in the middle, like a 13S role. Yes, we do lose a lot of experience with Daniel Saifidi, but it's still a very similar squad to last year.
You've got some real good young blokes coming through too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like some really exciting players like Cody Hopwood, Sebastian Sewer.
Yeah, so Hopwood, I think he's on a train and trial. I don't know if he's been upgraded to the top 30 or not yet.
Okay.
I'm not too sure. I haven't even seen this Hopwood play, but a lot of people are like talking about the next big thing in that.
Yeah.
The thing with the Newcastle Knights, every year there's 2 or 3 young fellas that are coming through the grades that people are like, oh, look out for this player.
Yeah.
Adam O'Brien, which I feel like he doesn't get credit for, is he doesn't just give into the outside noise and put these players into the side just to please everybody. You look at Will Price. How much noise was there about Will Price last year? Andrew Johns was going on Channel 9 commentary each week saying, I want Price to debut. I want Price to debut. Adam O'Brien stuck to what his coaching style, and he doesn't just put in people for the sake of it. So that's probably something he gets credit for. Will this Hopwood Nat get these first grade games this year? I don't know.
Yeah.
I personally don't feel like it's going to be in the first 5 to 10 rounds.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like he's going to try and stick solid with this, like the boys that were there last year, Jacob Saifidi, your Leo Thompsons. Leo Thompson's still here at the club this year. As much as sucks he's going the year after, we've still got him for 2025. You know what I mean? So him and Jacob in the start of the front row, and then Tyson Frizzell, Kai Pearce-Paul, Dylan Lucas. Like, what a great year he had in 2024. And then Adam Elliott at number 13. That's a good forward pack, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
It's such a good pack. I'm excited to see how you guys go. I feel like you have a real opportunity as well if everything is, consistent. You pick and stick with the halves. It could be a decent year. Like I'm not denying that at all. I think it could be a good year for the Newcastle Knights. Talk to me about Lucas and Kai Pearce-Paul. Are they 2 guys that you'd probably go with to start in the back row? I've got Tyson moving into the middle, so it's a bit of a big stretch from me. I know that he's played a few games for St George at lock, but
I've seen a lot of media attention on Tyson Frizzell going into the middle, and people are going, oh yeah, he's getting a bit older. He plays more like a middle and that. I don't know what I've been watching, but I feel like he's still a hard hitting back rower, and I feel like it's easier on the body if you put him in the back row. I don't really want Tyson Frizzell going through 40, 50 tackles in the middle of the field every week. I feel like he still hits that right edge line strong as much as anyone. He only still played Origin 2 years ago or something like that. So my back rowers, I'd have Dylan Lucas on my left edge.
Yeah.
And I'd have Tyson Frizzell, and I'd have Kai Pearce-Paul coming off the bench. But that'd be a rotating thing, right?
Yeah.
So some weeks, Dylan Lucas, if he's not 100%, he can move to the bench, and then you put Kai Pearce-Paul straight into that starting side.
Yeah.
It's a good three-way back row rotation, right?
Yeah,
Kai
100%.
Pearce-Paul, Dylan Lucas, Tyson Frizzell. Fucking pretty good, man. That's some good back rowers.
100% it is. I think for me, like, I agree with him moving into the middle purely because I think you do lose a lot of experience through the middle.
Yes.
Like, even though you've got guys that have been there for the past few years and, you've got that level of experience there, I feel like Daniel Saifiti, the level of experience that he had, losing that, the most experienced guy other than Frizz is Adam Elliott. And then the rest of the side is basically guys under like 25 and under. So I think that just putting that level of experience back in the middle and that voice through the middle in the pack.
Yes.
That for me, I think that like he's still a great line running front rower. I think that running those block shapes and things like that, he could really ace that too. So
I just feel like it could shorten his career. I really do.
You do?
Yeah. You probably are right in this outside noise. He might go in the middle.
Yeah.
But do I feel like that's the best choice for the club?
Yeah.
I personally don't. I feel like, I've played back row and I've played middle, nowhere near as experienced as NRL, but I've played footy before.
Yeah.
It's so much easier
on the back row.
On the body playing in the back row. Like, you got to be fit and stuff still, but like, you're just not getting through. Like, you're doing a lot of work defending in the middle as like a lock forward, a front rower, a dummy half. You are going through so much gritty, shitty work.
Yeah.
When you're in the back row, you're just on your edge the whole time. And yes, it's a little bit smarter position. You got to actually think with your head and not just focus on pure grit and strength. But like, I just feel like that could take a year off his career if we chuck him into the middle.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I when I was 15, I started playing footy. I started in the back row because I had a little bit of speed. Like, they just needed that back rower out there. So I came in. I had no idea what I was doing, no idea about shapes and that. But I was scoring tries. I felt like a winger. I was like living my best life. And then moved into the middle the following year, and I was like, this is shit.
Oh,
this
mate,
is so much fucking harder than
Well, like, I've played front row majority of my whole life,
Yeah.
but I still play with our work side, with the firefighter side. And we actually combined with Queensland and ACT and had an Australian Fireys game. We versed the Cops again before one of the Roosters games at Allianz in the CBD there, or in the city. And was lucky to play back row this time.
Yeah.
I was like, this is so much better on my body. Like, I honestly reckon I could still be playing full time if I played back row my whole life. But that's what happens when you eat too many meat pies and drink fucking 10 schooners every week. You fucking put on a bit of weight and you have to go in the middle.
Yeah, 100%, mate, 100%. Look, I'd be happy. I'm coming back for Southeastern this year, so I've had a few years off because I popped my shoulder out the back.
Oh, right,
my
as you coming back.
Yeah, so I had a dent in the ball of my shoulder the size of a golf ball.
Yeah,
and the physio was just like, mate, like, stop.
Give it away.
This is not right. Like, so I took a few years off to this rehab. But coming back, I'm hoping back row is my spot. But if it's middle, it's middle.
It's the Mickey Mouse position. I think it's great. Yeah,
it's the best.
You ask Rennie Maturin, though, if you ever see those boys, like, they would 100%. They'd probably say the opposite. Oh no, you want to play in the middle because it's the tough position and that. But
no, I think Ren was very happy sitting out there in the centre, just quietly. Smaller body, 5'11", whatever he is.
Yeah. Unless you got players like Sam Burgess and that who just live and breathe the tough, gritty, carry on stuff.
Yeah.
Back row so much.
I'll let those boys do that. I'll stay out here on the edge and
100%.
have the best time of my life. But yeah, look, it'd be interesting to see what they go for back row wise. I think that playing Lucas and Kaipi's Paul there, I'd probably have them as 80-minute back rowers, to be honest, too, because they've got so much talent. Like, Lucas filled in the centres for a bit last year. Holy shit. Like, I did not think Lucas was that type of player that he was, and then how he played.
He's got a couple of years before that when he was playing at South Newcastle, our club, and seniors there. He's only like 19, 20 coming through.
Yeah.
He was playing like centre wing. And then he just grew an extra foot.
Yeah.
Put on all this weight, like fit muscle, and he's fucking jacked now.
I remember that, like 4 years ago, like when he was playing Newcastle,
he was playing
winger.
Reserve grade, and then he's just like come to his own and found a position in back row. I couldn't believe it. He was like another one like Sam McIntyre from the Cowboys. He's at the Cowboys now. He's played for the Titans, the Tigers.
Yeah.
He was the same. He played with us at South. He was a winger.
Yeah.
And then similar body shape to Lucas. They just put all this size on, and now they're tall, rangy, lanky back rowers. And I'm just like, fuck, man, it must be nice to be gifted like that. Just,
You know what? Like, I was listening to Levels the other day. I think Willie Mason used to be a fullback
there you go.
before he
Yeah.
got signed with the Roosters. But yeah, look, it's interesting to hear those type of stories and how quickly that can
The
sort of
body
change.
shape can change. I'm still waiting.
Yeah, I know. I want body shape to change so I can play a bit of 5'8" too. Just
Yeah, exactly.
get in those key positions, get that cash dollar. Yeah, look, I think that they should be playing 80 minutes. I love them. I think they're so talented and gifted.
Yeah, it's a fair call. It's a fair call. But for 2 back rolls, 80 minutes. How many clubs are doing that?
A lot now.
Yeah?
Fafita and Firma.
True.
You've got I think that IPAP and Mardo will probably play 80. I think Eli Katoa, Sean Bloor will probably play 80. Like, I think a lot of clubs are doing it now just because they can handle it a little bit more. And you know, like the workload as well. Like the workload, we just talked about it then. The workload is a little bit lower than what it is in the middle.
It's a great call. Yeah, it's a good shout. You might have hit the nail on the head. See what happens. I just that's going off. I feel like it could shorten Frizzell's career by a couple of years.
I get it for sure. Like he's
does that make sense?
Youngest. Yeah, it does. He's not the youngest bloke in the world either. Like he is getting towards that
still
peak.
Good looking. I saw him the other day.
He's still looking
smooth, fucking crystal clear.
Mate, I'll tell you who's good looking. Humphreys. Fuck, I want his bicep.
Oh,
for
mate,
sure. Fuck.
They're playing for the Rabbits now.
Yeah,
for Manly.
Yeah.
Mate, what's happening there?
I don't know. We've got too many good looking blokes in our team.
Fuck.
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. It's mate. I saw that shot of him at the beach. Yeah, Mick from the Castle Patrol, because he's doing the media over there.
Yeah.
So, mate, that is that's incredible. Yeah, like, and I'm straight as anyone. I'm straight as a 180 degree straight line. That's how straight I am. But fuck me, he's a sort.
He is a sort, mate. Yeah. He is. I want the bicep routine. I'm gonna get these arms a little bit bigger.
Yeah, I need to do fucking nothing. I look like a fucking half sucked mango. I've got no idea.
Yeah, fuck. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, to be honest, having too many good swords. Like, does it distract the opposition? Like, is it, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
Don't want to hurt the face or head. Like,
but also, it's
the
distraction off the field, because you have all the females will be coming over just, and blokes, whatever they're into, I don't know.
Exactly.
It could
be 2025, mate, you know.
It could be a distraction, but yeah, Humphreys, if you see me coming for you, mate, just run in the opposite direction. Report your detection.
That's it, mate. That's it. Mate, back to the Newcastle.
Yes.
Where are you sort of seeing them sitting this year?
I think similar to last year.
Yeah.
I really do. 6th to 9th.
6 to 9?
6th to 9th, yeah. Again, people are going to come on here and go, oh, the Knights, they haven't got the depth. You know, they're going to change their halves and that. They can carry on all they want. Yep. I strongly believe that this rugby league football side can make the 8. I really do. All these rugby league experts are going to be going, oh, this bloke's got no idea what he's talking about. Like, seriously. Any side with Kalen Ponga any side with Kalen Ponga in their side.
Yep.
Seriously.
Mate, what's the? I know that there's been a few players from Newcastle recently linked to the Roosters. What's the thoughts on the chat from bloke in the VAR about Guru saying KP's going to Chooks?
Guru can go give himself an uppercut.
It's going to be a head
He's
high.
coaching the Goanna Academy as well. Yeah, exactly. Charity match, isn't he? Mate, like they've struck the other side for the charity match. They've lost 2 years in a row, and they go get Guru as their coach. Do they want to lose 3 years in a row?
Oh, mate.
Seriously.
Mate,
no idea, mate.
Fuck it. He'd be pretty scared about what's happening with this judiciary, because if you're playing, it's Mitchell Pearce is the target. If you're not playing, Guru's got to watch his head, doesn't he?
Mate, Guru's got to watch his head, absolutely. I know you're in the coaching box, Guru. Kat's the assistant coach. Kat, you're all right. You're in the good books. Guru, mate, saying all this Ponga go on the Roosters. What's he trying to do? Get a reaction out of us Novocastrians?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Guru knows that us Novocastrians are passionate. We love our Knights, and most importantly, we love our Kalen Ponga. So anyone from the media is going to talk about Ponga going elsewhere, it's going to get us fucking fired up. You can see the passion in my eyes. I feel like I'm about to run through a brick wall. Seriously, Guru, mate, what are you doing? Ponga's not going anywhere. Clip that up. If Kalen Ponga goes, I'll eat me hat. I'm not even wearing a hat. You give me a hat, I'll eat my hat if Kalen Ponga leaves.
They get him a Guru hat to eat.
Guru, give me a hat. Give me a Guru hat. I'll eat that live on Instagram if Kalen Ponga leaves at the end of this season.
Done. Clip that up. We are definitely clipping that up. Done. Mate, yeah, so you've got 6th to 9th. I think... I'm not too sure. I think that...
Be honest. I want raw and honest here.
Yep.
Tell me. Hit me.
I think that Newcastle are probably the second favourites or favourites for the Spoon.
Really?
Yep. I think that the comp's evened out so much where I think that everyone's going to be a top 8 threat. But if you don't sort of really hit that stride late in the season, you're going to be probably at the bottom end of that
That's
ladder.
so interesting. That's very interesting. Like who do you like? Who was the other side that you have down the bottom? Was it the Raiders?
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Hey,
Yeah.
I generally, this is not even me Knights hyperbole carrying on. Like I know I'd take like a satire take on rugby league at times. But I can't comprehend how the Knights are going to get the wooden spoon. Like I seriously don't feel like this squad is that bad. Like people don't want to say this about like the Warriors and that. I feel like the Warriors are more of a chance of getting the wooden spoon compared to the Knights. Like
yeah.
They got James Fisher-Harris and that going there, but like
I mean, look.
And then the Warriors. I love the Warriors fans. They're great. They're passionate. I give it to the Warriors. I call them the wahs because they're always crying and complaining and whatever. But like I genuinely can't see. And yes, I've got to stick up for my side. And yes, I have no idea what I'm talking about. Yeah. But I just generally don't feel like they can get the wooden spoon. Mathematically, like their draw for one is fantastic. Yeah. Origin time, you might get Kalen Ponga out. You might get Bradman Best out. Besides that, you still got sides there where you're going to get 2, 3, 4 victories. There's 8 points there. Again,
you've got a good.
Can this, and like we only verse out of the top 4, I think only the Panthers twice this season. A lot of those top sides we only verse once, which is, works out well because you're versing more of that 8th to 17th spot more consistently, where you'd like to think you can get 1 or 2 victories against each side there. I just feel like the draw's good. You got Kalen Ponga, Adam O'Brien. He's made the finals 4 out of 5 times now. Yeah. People forget about that. Yeah. People are quick to hate on Adam O'Brien. I don't feel like he's as bad as what everyone makes him out to be. He's
certainly not, because like I'll give you an example. John Morris, obviously coaching at the Sharks. He was consistently in finals every single year, and obviously he got
sucked when they're coming third.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's pretty hectic. But I just think when you look at the Knights, you compare them to a lot of the same. It's like you were talking about the Warriors before. I think Fisher's going to be huge for them. I think that having him and Barnett, they're probably...
I hope they are. I hope he is, yeah.
They're probably the better front row combination in the comp, those two together. You got an Origin front rower there, and then Fish. If he wasn't a New Zealander, he'd be playing Origin for sure. So I think that both of those guys together are going to be great. I think that while Tohu Harris retiring is definitely huge, I think that Dylan Walker or Aaron Clark, I think it suits their attack more anyway, having a bit of a more mobile 13 there. I like the Warriors, to be honest, as a side, and I think that if they do get a few games together and Metcalf and whoever they put there in the 6 works, I think it could work out well for them. I think that they're probably in similar areas, them and Newcastle, but I just look at a lot of other sides. A lot of other sides have a lot more figured out than what Newcastle,
Dragons?
What Warriors. Dragons, I think, are like Shane Flanagan. What he got out of that side last year. I think if he, with the experience that he's getting into that team now and setting standards and things like that at the club, I think that they're going to go a lot better this year. I don't know. I compare them to other teams and where they're at, how many questions each team has.
I feel like the Bulldogs. This could be controversial. I think the Bulldogs get the yips. I feel like I feel like they might miss the 8. Remember 2 years ago when the Warriors went on that run and they finished top 4. Where'd they finish last year? Warriors?
I know.
There's going to be sides like that.
There is.
You look at the Cowboys.
Yeah.
The Cowboys, besides Dearden, besides a couple of forwards and that, like they're only,
I think Dearden's going to have a fucking huge
run I do as well. I think Dearden's one of my favourite players. Yeah, and it hurts me to say it because he's a Queenslander and he plays for the Cowboys. And I hate the Cowboys because of Rando and Donny Sports. Donny Sports, you're a loser. I wish he was on the other side of the charity match so I could take his head off. I just compare those sides to the Knights where everyone's like, and I'll say quick to hate on the Knights because a lot of people are the last few years, especially in the media. I compare the Knights to their sides and I'm just like, they're not that much better than us, if not we're better than them. And that's, a lot of Knights rhetoric of me carrying on. But
you know what? That's where I agree with you. I don't think there is that disparity there, but I think that, with how even the competition is, feel like everyone's going to be fighting for the 8. But I think that if you don't go on that late season run, you drop down.
Dolphins.
Yeah. Dolphins was interesting because if Isaiah Katoa doesn't fire, they're fucked.
Mate, I look at that side compared to the Knights.
Yeah.
And people are, Knights are wooden spoon. I'm like, and like, look, yes, I understand.
Yeah.
This is strictly going off squad, like top 30 squads,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And we haven't seen any footy this year yet to make a call on that. But I just like, does a Kalen Ponga, if he played a full season, do they get the wooden spoon? I just don't feel like they do.
Yeah. Look, it's fair. It's 100% fair. Like, you're probably turning me around just quietly.
Oh, mate, I'll talk you. I'll sweet talk you into anything, mate.
Yeah.
I'll get you. Yeah.
I get it. I get where you're coming from. But what I judge this ladder off, because I spent fucking 2 hours doing a ladder prediction.
Yeah,
right?
mate, I could imagine.
And I had to take a break halfway through. I was like,
it gives me anxiety even thinking about having to write a 1 to 17 ladder.
Yeah,
you just can't do it.
I sort of did it at the end. I was sort of like, fuck it. Let's just go through how many questions every team has regarding next year, all the question marks, and whichever team has the most for me, they're probably going to get the spoon. Newcastle and Raiders probably fit the bill for me there. Just because because halves, spine, obviously key players and contracts, things like that. I know that we just talked about Guru and obviously the Callum Ponga chat, but like there is that noise there externally. It's not just Guru. It's like there's reports and everything.
Ponga's not going anywhere. Ponga ain't going anywhere.
Yep.
And also 30,000 screaming Novocastrians at McDonald Jones Stadium each week. If that's not enough to get the players up and about to avoid the wooden spoon, then like, Jesus Christ.
The Brickies will tie them down and keep
Oh,
them
mate,
sure.
the Brickies are going to be out in force this year. Call it an ambush now. Knights will go on. We'll win the comp. Clip that up.
We will, mate. We will. We're going to keep you accountable for sure.
Mate,
You're the brick.
People can have a go at me and call me an idiot.
HIA in here?
Seriously. Yeah, I just love my Newcastle Knights.
I know. I get it. Look, as I said before, like, when you're tallying it up, you're looking at how many question marks sides have over them going into the year. I feel like the Knights and the Raiders, they just have the most at the moment. And I feel like once I get a read more on, the first 10 rounds, as we were saying before at the start of the preview, you know what I mean? You get that first 10 rounds and you get that idea of where the club's going to go. Until I have that and I know that they're going to keep consistency, it's like, fuck, I just can't put my faith in that.
So I think I'm starting to get to that age, and this is the first time in my life I've ever experienced this. Like, how old are you?
I'm 20. Just turned 20 2 days ago.
So I'm 29, turning 30 this year, so 10 years difference. I'm starting to get to that age where I can say to younger fellas going, you haven't watched enough rugby league in your time, mate.
It's fair enough. I'm not going to push back on just quietly.
Oh, mate, I never wanted to be that person. I always used to I have my opinion. People go, you haven't seen enough rugby league winters, mate. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm that person now.
100%, mate. 100%. Well, look, I'll probably get there in about 10 years, but look, I'll cop it. I'll cop it now.
A couple more under your belt. A couple more pre-seasons, mate.
That's it. Look, can't wait to see how you go on the judiciary, mate. Obviously, the charity match coming up. We'll have to wait and see how you go. What's the early sort of read? How's it going? How are you preparing? What's the argument?
Got one of the best lawyers in human history on my side. Up in Newcastle, he's going to come represent me. So hopefully, fingers tight.
Yep.
We get off the suspension, get out there, and go for a three-peat in the SportShed TV Charity Match.
Look, they're gonna pull up the tape. Obviously, in the judiciary, they're gonna pull up the tape and go through the video there. What's the argument? The argument
is I should have hit him harder.
Perfect, mate. Well, I don't know how that's going to go for you. We'll have to wait and see. Mate, pleasure to have you on the podcast and go through your side as well as the Raiders. And look, can't wait to see how you go at the judiciary and what's planned for what's new in the castle going into 2025.
No, thanks for having me again. The Big Les Show. What a great show as well, mate. Great little studio here. No, thanks for having me. For me this year, basically, just try and have a laugh, try and enjoy ourselves. I'm really enjoying the negative comments